Whisper Aero is delivering cleaner, quieter, more efficient thrusts for drones, for aircraft, for really anything that moves lots of air. What we realized is that despite all of these innovations in electric aviation, nobody had developed a propulsion system that was quiet enough and scalable enough and efficient enough to really unlock aviation at scale.
It's rather challenging, designing for noise for, the average person out there in the world. When you're working with the DoD, you have a very knowledgeable customer.
The best innovations are uncompromisingly good. If you've got a new technology that is more efficient, surely you're making a sacrifice somewhere. Or if it's more quiet, surely you're making a sacrifice in efficiency. The key question we started to ask ourselves is what if you weren't mitigating? What if you're so quiet you map into the conformal land use, but also the community accepts you by default? That's kind of the perspective you need to have, and then you have to match that with the technical insight for how you actually solve that problem. What we've developed here is a breakthrough in how you can generate thrust more cleanly, efficiently, and quietly than before.
Rather than trickling down from defense to civil over time, we framed it to say, how do we look at these both together, improve civil aviation, and then take the learnings from civil aviation to feed back into defense. Everyone is looking for longer run times, longer endurance. Being 20 to 40% more efficient unlocks a whole other kind of area of missions.
When we've done flight testing and you look at the acoustic signatures, it's flying 130 feet overhead. Essentially, the atmosphere completely attenuates high frequency noise. We can't even measure the high frequency.
When you start to think about other eVTOL applications like delivery drones, drones for first responders, being able to get that in the hands of public service providers, law enforcement agencies, we truly can change the world. I'm not doing it just for the drone companies. It's a $30 billion market by 2035, right? In 10, 15 years, I'm not gonna wanna be sitting on my porch having these things buzzing around. It's really motivating to know that I'm protecting that future by working here.
We've been able to really raise a lot of meaningful capital, over $2.2 million in government contracts to date. This has been through SBIR's STTRs that are highly aligned with our technical development, that ultimately make good on delivering cleaner, quieter, more efficient thrusts. Happened to intersect with Vertx, started talking about what we had been working on at Whisper. Light bulbs. Immediately understood, what are we building? How can this tie in directly into the Air Force and other user groups? I think there was just this immediate realization, the tech is great, and there's a very obvious dual use. And you already have phase 1s and phase 2s. Let's try and find a phase 3 together, or multiple phase 3s. Vertx also shares a lot of perspectives that we wouldn't inherently have. Think about incubating technologies, think about innovation. It always happens at this nexus of different but aligned perspectives. And that alignment of Vertx's understanding of the government with our understanding of the future of propulsion leads to some really great opportunities down the road.